Welcome to the Gould-Fish pod. I am Matt Gould.
And I'm Ryan Fish.
And it's time to do this thing once again. We're going to jump right into the action here. Fish, disc golf, hole in one. Did you get one?
Negative.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty windy the past couple times I went out, so it was definitely difficult to get it all the way there.
The weather was certainly not favorable for just about anybody in our region to play disc golf. I played one game, was brutal the whole time, didn't play the 18th hole, so it was one of those days. Yeah. Snuck it around at the knock knolls. Didn't go the way that it was supposed to.
That's tough.
Not even remotely close. Barely threw any good shots. Pulled everything off to the right. Just disaster.
You're just knocking the rust off.
Still in rust. Still spring training for me.
There you go.
Still spring training. But before we jump into not a ton of new stuff that's worth talking about, we're going to go and talk about Dynamite and Rampage in a second here. But I just wanted to take a quick second to talk about Warrior Wrestling 21. Principal Steve setting up another show at the Bendix Arena in South Bend, Indiana. And that place is so fun to watch wrestling shows. You've got like movie theater style seating, plenty of space. The crowd is always awesome. There's really not a bad seat in the house. And there were 7 matches on the show, which is plenty of matches, especially if they're going to do a 25-minute Frank the Clown segment, which I don't know who was clamoring for it, but we got it. But other than other than that, for real though, it is a tremendous time. I mean, obviously not every single show can be a great show. It's just not how it works. But even on the shows where you're not, maybe don't get as great of matches, which I can't even remember the last time that was true about Warrior Wrestling. But even if there's names that you're not as interested in seeing, there's a redeemable qualities in every show. You're going to go and have a great time with whoever you go with. I mean, there were some spots in matches where like my dad and I weren't necessarily, all the way there for some of the matches, but even in those matches, like there's just so much fun to be had, and the crowd is so great with everything, and the wrestling is always pretty good. It just shout out to Principal Steve. He does such a tremendous job. And if Warrior Wrestling comes your way, I highly recommend that you go and watch it. They're going to do a show in St. Louis. They do shows in the Chicago area all the time. They do South Bend, Indiana. It's really in 2 years or so, 2-3 years, it has evolved and kind of become its own Midwest dominant indie promotion, whereas it started as a high school fundraiser. So shout out to Principal Steve. Thank you for putting on tremendous shows. And if you ever have a chance to go and see Warrior Wrestling, it's a ticket that you need to get. That's my little spiel on them. Wanted to make sure, despite all 12 viewers that we might have, maybe they've already been to a Warrior show. You happen upon this in the future, the message will probably still be true. Get a ticket to Warrior Wrestling. Go and check out at least one of those shows. Guarantee you'll have a good time, even if you decide that ultimately you're not going to come back. But
I was going to say, someone in the comments, you just have to say, "Go Principal Steve." He's on a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you've been to Warrior Wrestling and you happen upon our humble little show here, let us know if you've been to any of those shows, what you think of them, any favorite matches. Will Ospreay has been there multiple times. He was in the main event of this past one. It was awesome. Try it out. I think it's on Fight TV. If you're on the fence, try it out.
It is on Fight TV, but I know the last time it was.
So there's other ways to go ahead and see it, but definitely something that you should do if you are a wrestling fan and you enjoy independent wrestling shows.
There you go.
That's my spiel on Warrior Wrestling. We can go ahead and jump right into the main course. We're going to talk about a little bit of Dynamite here. Fish, overall, what'd you think of the show?
I thought it was very good. I didn't think there's too many lulls in the show. I definitely felt like it was, going at a very good pace and not the crazy, back to back like segments that Tony usually likes to do. I think we have one critique, but overall, I thought it was very solid.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll get to. I have a feeling that our critique might be the same, but we'll get there. Our first match was CM Punk defeating Dustin Rhodes. he ended up sitting down on a sunset flip attempt and ended up capturing Dustin for the win. It was a really, really, what's old is new. Time is a flat circle. It was an old school style match, and it was really fun. Dustin,
I was glued to the TV, so.
Dude, Dustin could convince me of anything at this point. And even if I'm not sure, I'll believe him. Like, I'll just believe him. The selling of the knee, which is what the match was mostly built around. CM Punk did a lot of Bret Hart stuff that he and the former Gold-Dust, would do in their matches. And I think it's just fun when the guys pay the tributes, and it's always fun to see that a traditional style. The crowd was electric. I mean, the crowd was loving this. It built.
Oh, they were so into it.
It built nicely, and by the end of it, they were so into it. I just think that it's fun to see that the traditional wrestling match will still get over today, and that it's not always about being crazy or moving super fast. These guys did it old school, and I loved it.
I think there's always that one saying, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the pros and the Joes. And those guys
never
are pros.
Heard that.
Oh.
I've never heard that, but it's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
At the end of the match, we had CM Punk walking away in celebration, and he ended up getting cut off, or not cut off, but he was met at the top of the ramp by the AEW World Champion Hangman Page. So it looks like probably double or nothing, but it looks like that, even though we kind of knew where that was going, that's what we're going to get. And that's always rewarding. So I'm all for it.
Something that's simple and makes sense is kind of what all you need sometimes.
Yeah, that's really all you need. I mean, and as long as it's two guys people care about, they're going to watch it, and the pay-per-view viewers will buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We jumped to a scene from earlier in the day where Wardlow had just gotten to the arena. I thought this was kind of funny. Mark Sterling alerted him that while he's doing this, he is to be handcuffed at all times while he is not in the ring. So essentially a bunch of security guards who, if you're the security guards, I want nothing to do with Wardlow unless he's in handcuffs at this point.
Unless you're making six figures.
Oh, yeah. Being a bodyguard at AEW at this point, it should be a six-figure position. No question.
Absolutely.
It's a hazard to your safety, and they better get good health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, week in and week out, Wardlow's just coming in and just demolishing security.
Man, if you're the security corps, a wrestler being a dick like MJF shouldn't affect your standing and what your daily job requirements are. And yet here we are. MJF has somehow found all of these security guards a way to make their life a lot more miserable every Wednesday with this Wardlow character. So funny stuff. He is guided to his locker room. Rather, his closet is what they said that they got him. And they took him away.
Yep.
Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta defeated Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty, and Brock Anderson. I had no idea this was even on the show going in, but I'm glad that it was.
Yeah, who was missing out of that little trio?
Big Shotty.
Big Shotty. I was hoping to, since he tags with Brock Anderson, it would have been Brock and Big Shotty instead of Lee Moriarty, which I'm not complaining about, but I just would have had my fun little segment of Big Shotty.
You could have had Lee Johnson, although Lee Moriarty, almost the same guy, close.
Yeah, they both have Lee in their name.
They do. And then Dante Martin, obviously, down his brother who's injured again, and he's got these guys going up against the Blackpool Combat Club. You can't just have some guys as your team. Like, you got to have a better strategy going in if your plan is to beat the Blackpool Combat.
There was no strategy.
No strategy. Which, hey, it made for an entertaining match. Boom, 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 lots of moves, but no strategy.
Yeah, where's Arn? Yeah, get the playbook out.
Dude, have Arn bring the Glock down to ringside. And then we'll see who the toughest guy in that ring is.
Yeah, he just steps in the ring.
But towards the end of the match, let's see what was going down here. I had some notes on this. Let's see. Oh yeah, at the end there was the part in the match where Moxley he had somebody in a submission hold and Lee Moriarty just came and kicked him again, and John Moxley would just not let go and was screaming at him that he's not kicking him hard enough, and just all kinds of great. I really like that spot. Yuta laid the elbows in on Brock, the Danielson elbows. It was just all sorts of stuff, and they ended up dominating in the end. I'm surprised they beat Dante Martin, all those guys in the match, and they pinned Dante Martin with the paradigm shift.
Yeah, it was a little surprising, but we'll see where it goes.
Dude, what they really needed is Sean Dean in the match. He's got 2 victories over MJF.
Yeah, he's got some clout to his name.
That's the kind of resume that you could use on your 6-man team or 3-man
there you
team.
Go. 2-0 against someone who's better than you, and you know it. So
oh yeah, and he beat Sean Spears, right?
He did beat Sean. Yeah. He's 3-0 in his last 3 Dynamite outings,
and they're all against Pinnacle members.
Yeah.
There was a backstage segment next where the Young Bucks were upset, and they were so upset that they couldn't even be mean to Brandon Cutler. They just said, "Hey, Brandon," or whatever, and I think Kyle O'Reilly was like, "What? That's his actual name? Like, no, shut up, Brandon. No, shut up, Landon. Nothing." And the Bucks are just like, we're not into it tonight. And Adam Cole goes off on his tirade about how they're the undisputed elite for a reason, and they've been losing lately, but multiple members of their group will be in the Owen Cup tournament. And tonight, as we know, Kyle O'Reilly wrestled for a spot in the tournament against the Jungle Boy, which we'll get to. But undisputed elite, open challenge for any combination of 10 or any combination of 5 to wrestle them in a 10-man tag. So I wonder who's going to take it. Any ideas?
I actually have no idea, to be honest.
Could it be the Dark Order? 5 members of the Dark Order?
Yeah, it's just I don't know about that because they've kind of moved on past Hangman.
I mean, they have, but
I mean, it would be like a good, way to go.
Dark Order is an easy group to pick 5 guys from and let them go.
I think they're the only faction that has more than 5.
Maybe the Andrade family office.
There you go. That would be
the match. That would be good. Or 5 random blokes: Lee Moriarty, Big Shotty, Brock Anderson,
Dante Martin,
and insert 5th guy here. Maybe
Serpentico. There you go.
Jesus Christ! Not after the beating he took on Friday. A video promo just kind of did more work on the Samoa Joe Jay Lethal feud. Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh are going to carry the entire country of India's legacy on their back. So there's that. Any thoughts there? Just a thing.
I think whatever AEW does, their video promos and like video segments and stuff, I think they're always really good.
Like, I mean, they're always very good videos.
So it's hard to like judge something like that when they always hit on those. So for me, it's just like, when they kind of do maybe a live promo or something else, but like those video segments just always hit for me.
The only issue that we ever find with the video segments is the why. Sometimes you watch one of them and you're like, why?
Right. Yeah.
But the video itself is never bad. Like when they were doing the endless promotion of Chris Statlander versus Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet and all that nonsense, like every time they did a video, it felt important and it was really, really good. It's just afterwards I would sit there and I go, well, why? And that was my main point of contention usually. But this was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. We don't need to see video promo packages of this. What we need to do is see if the guy can actually move.
Yeah, that is true.
Speaking of something that's going to move, and when I say move, I mean move numbers, ticket sales, and pay-per-view buys. We've got the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door pay-per-view super show announced next. And Tony Khan invited the president of New Japan out onto the stage, only for both of them to be interrupted by Adam Cole, who said that he deserved to be the one who made the announcement. Gave off a bunch of reasons why he's the best ever, as he usually does. And then he announced that he had a match against Tomohiro Ishii that Friday on Rampage. and that he had a friend who wanted to say hello on top of that. And then Jay White's music plays. He emerged from the back, and I think it's kind of cool that he was out there. He said he single-handedly sold out the Madison Square Garden show, even though he wrestled Okada there, and it was the main event for the title in a big building at a historic weekend. So, but yeah, it was all Jay. Long story short.
Yeah, it was all Jay.
Nice little segment. Hopefully Jay White doesn't end up wrestling Orange Cassidy at the Super Show. It wouldn't be very super. Tough. That wouldn't be very super.
Well, I did get my too sweet chance in. So
you did. Yeah, the too sweet chant. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Jay White's there for it. He's a bad guy, technically, but just give him a too sweet and you'll turn him. You'll see the sweetheart Jay White. Just give him some too sweets. The next thing we had was a Jade Cargill backstage. Was she with the baddies and Mark Sterling, it looks like? I don't know. It was
I think it was with I can't remember.
There were some people back there, and they said that Sharina's the problem, Jade's the problem solver. I think this is the second straight week they did this, but it was just with more people there.
Yeah.
So whatever. So before the next match, which was Wardlow versus the Butcher, MJF, and Sean Spears appeared in the stand. It's been a long weekend, folks. They appeared up in the stands, and MJF just shit all over Pittsburgh, which was great. And then said that Wardlow will be coming out to no music. And when he came out, he was still handcuffed. At this point, I made a joke. What if the handcuffs didn't work and they couldn't get him off? Or they had the wrong key?
That would have been hilarious.
And then for a second there, that security guard had an issue with that second.
He was struggling for a second.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, why did I put this into the world?
The nerves was just, he had to have been so rattled.
Oh yeah. But they chanted Wardlow, the Wardlow chant.
That was his music.
That was his music, which very cool. It was big man match. They ran into each other and destroyed each other, and it slowed down a little bit, but it wasn't long enough that it was like it wasn't long enough of a match that it dragged or anything like that. And eventually Wardlow just hit 4 power bombs and won. What did you think of this match?
Definitely served its purpose. I actually thought, like, not necessarily in the end, like the Butcher looked better, but I mean, it helps when you kind of push Wardlow a little bit around.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely thought like that in like that sense, like it was good too, but the Powerbomb Symphony was to perfection.
I mean, if you're the only way that you could mess up a big man powerhouse hitting each other match is 2 ways. One, you're either completely incompetent, which neither of these guys are. The only other way you can mess it up is by overthinking it. Like it's such an easy one to do. Run into each other, couple big slams,
hit each other hard. There you go.
Yeah, that's really what you need. As long as you've got some of that in there, you'll be good. And then as soon as he won, he was handcuffed again and led away. I think this is this addition of the handcuffs and MJF making his entrance lame and the security guards. Like, I think that this has progressed and it's flowed very well, what they've done with Wardlow.
Yeah, the last like MJF segments, like everything he's been has been like top notch. So,
dude, you think about all of the feuds that MJF has been in over the course of the last 2 years. He's done a feud with CM Punk. He's done a feud with Chris Jericho. He's done a feud with Cody. That was a little bit longer ago, but big feud.
He did one with Moxley.
He did one with Moxley. He was technically a member of the Inner Circle for a little while. He's done all this stuff with these names that are so big. And now, like, after years, MJF is the big name that's going to spice up a feud against Wardlow. Right. And it fits right in. Like, there's no drop off in, I mean,
in quality for sure.
Yeah. Quality. I didn't even want to say quality because I didn't want to infer that Wardlow is of lesser quality than the other guys. But certainly from a storytelling perspective, I'm just as interested as I was in anything that MJF was doing before. And I think for Wardlow especially, that's pretty damn cool.
Absolutely.
Eddie Kingston addressed Daniel Garcia, and they're going to fight on Rampage. Listen to this brilliant idea, Fish. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
They banned everyone from ringside.
Wow.
What a concept. They've wrestled in some combination, these two groups, like 4 times at this point. And after 3 of them had so much blatant interference, they've just now decided. 2 guys have lost because they were hit with a bat. But now they decide that they're going to ban everyone from ringside. And you know what? They'll wrestle again. And in that match, not everyone will be banned from ringside and everyone will be down there. Like, I just, like, that type of shit makes no sense to me.
Look, I know. I'm just saying, maybe Floyd. Yet again, he was the most powerful Inner Circle member. Right now he's the most powerful Jericho Appreciation Society member.
They should steal Floyd.
Yes.
And then the match at the pay-per-view should be a 6-man tag ladder match with the Floyd on a pole match. Yeah. Hang Floyd from the ceiling. And whichever group gets up there and grabs him gets to hit the other group. Once each.
Once each.
Yeah, that should be the match.
We've already sold another big match.
Oh yeah. Let us book the show, man. We're telling you, it'll be 100% great every week. Owen Hart Foundation Cup qualifier, Kyle O'Reilly defeated Jungle Boy. What did you think?
I thought it was a very good match.
Oh yeah. Kyle O'Reilly, the one thing you're guaranteed is that it's always going to be different. And in a lot of cases, especially in pro wrestling, something that's just a little different than what you're used to usually ends up favorable. It usually ends up good, as long as the person knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and I haven't seen too many Kyle O'Reilly matches too, so this was definitely a nice taste of a singles match, because he's only wrestled in tags in AEW, I believe, up until this point. So
yeah, I don't think he's done a singles match in AEW,
because I know Bobby Fish has. So
yeah, he certainly has. I think a lot of people that I saw in the social media world, and I'll take it with a grain of salt because of the source, but I saw some people on social media were like surprised that Jungle Boy lost. And how could you be surprised? The Red Dragon and Super Elite team have been wearing it on the chin for like weeks.
They needed a big win.
They needed a win. Red Dragon has lost 2 title matches. The Young Bucks lost. They were the 3rd team in that title match. They also lost. They lost to FTR in the double title match. Adam Cole's lost the world title twice. What, are we just going to keep making these guys lose? I will not have it.
Well, I was just going to say, the point is that, Adam Cole having the undisputed elite, everyone make it to basically the finals, he's got to get everyone winning.
That's true. If you've got 5 guys that can all enter a tournament, there's no excuse for you not to end up with at least 2 or 3 in the final 4. So
there you go.
This is what I'm talking about. Strategy. I need a clear strategy. As long as we got that, we're all good. But the finish was O'Reilly landing some kind of brainbuster or something or other, and then hitting a diving knee drop for the win. And I don't even know what Kyle O'Reilly's actual finisher is, so I actually didn't really know how it was going to end. I mean, I thought Kyle O'Reilly was going to win, but I didn't know how it would end or if there would be shenanigans, and so that added a little bit of suspense to the match. And no shenanigans. Kyle O'Reilly, clean win, clean as a sheet over the Jungle Boy in the tournament.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, like you said, well-deserved.
And then I thought, and I've thought this for a while, it's not as blatantly obvious or blatantly necessary as some of the others that I've thought might have happened by now, but I've sat and wondered when Christian is going to turn on the Jungle Boy, and it seems like one of these days that's going to have to happen.
I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later, because I don't know if it was what it was kind of meant to be, but it definitely seemed like Jungle Boy was like apologizing or like saying like my bad for like losing or something. So like I don't know what that kind of what's that about, but
I mean, I think that once they drop the titles, maybe they'll do something in that direction. Jungle Boy could use a feud by himself against somebody really good and somebody who's held in very high regard. I think that would help out Jungle Boy a lot. After that, MJF and Sean Spears were backstage, and he was not happy. However, he was ready to move on. He introduced his next Wardlow challenger. Jake the Snake Roberts walked up, and he rambled for a little while. He was saying some cool stuff, but then like there was a couple points where I was like, if that were the end, that would have been like a great little promo by Jake the Snake. He just kept going and going and going and going. And finally, Lance Archer cuts him off and was like, I don't care about this money. I just want to beat this guy's ass. Which, like, dude, just take the money. Like, there's nothing
wrong with... Take the money
with,
and beat his ass.
there's nothing wrong with also taking the money for the job that you're being paid to do. You know, like, that's fine. You know, you can do that.
It's acceptable.
I know everybody dies, but everybody also needs a will, my friend. Hook defeated Anthony Henry, who I actually watched, not at this past Warrior Wrestling show, but at the previous Warrior Wrestling show. Anthony Henry, very talented, but I don't know what you expect when you try and go up against the big guns. You can't.
Why would you challenge Hook?
You can't just be challenging Hook on his Dynamite debut or in-ring debut. You can't just be challenging Hook and expecting things to go well.
Or poor planning.
Very poor planning. Again, strategy. That's the theme of the show. Guys, without a strategy all the way thought through. That's just, and it happens sometimes. He suplexed him all over the ring, locked in the red rum, and beat him. And then, and also Danhausen tried to curse him again, which, of course, it didn't work. And after the match, Danhausen said that he is done with Hook. He's very upset about this. And so now they're going to fight. And the crowd was very into the idea of these two fighting. And Hook just shoulder bumps him and walks to the back. More on that later. Fish, what do you think about this Danhausen Hook nonsense? I mean, we'll get into the Rampage segment, but what did you think of this one?
I mean, it just fits Hook so well in the sense of like he doesn't care. Like he just like he gets challenged, cursed, whatever, and he's just like, move. I'm just gonna go walk back.
Yeah, I think the Hook character not caring is great, and it's like a good thing for him to play off of because he doesn't have to try too hard. He can just be who he is, and it's going to be funny. It's just weird. I don't know. Sometimes these Danhausen and Hook things pop up on TV, and I'm just like, not the right time. And then other times they do stuff on TV where I'm like, that was pretty damn great. And I don't know. I guess it's just I guess I see more of it at this point than I thought I would, and so they can't all be hits. Some of them will probably inevitably be misses, but it's so weird. Sometimes, like, I can't even put my finger on it. I have no reason. It's just sometimes I'm like, I didn't need a Hook Danhausen segment today. But then other days I'm like, oh shit, this is exactly what I was looking for. A Hook Danhausen segment. I don't know.
Yes, it's like a way to keep them, on Dynamite and Rampage.
It is. Maybe I'm just smooth brain. I don't know.
we're both smooth braining this right now.
Okay, so here's your segment for at least mine for confusing segment of the week on our Dynamite show. Frankie Kazarian was about to call out Sammy Guevara, but Scorpio Sky interrupted. Said all of his accomplishments wouldn't have been possible without Kazarian. So why the hell did you leave your group then, Scorpio? You goddamn fool. Before asking Kazarian to wait to take his TNT title shot, and said that once Scorpio Sky won it back, yes, we're going to get another match with these guys, that Kazarian would have the first shot. And Kazarian agreed.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wanted to let that one sit there for a second.
Well, the thing is, like, this is the first time I've seen Frankie in a while. And, like, not to be, like, that guy, but, like, I know Scorpio's, like, your friend and all, but, like, he just said, like, you can challenge me when I win it. Well, Frankie's like, well, I haven't been on TV in a while. Like, let me just get this. Like, come on, man.
Dude, all I know is SCU used to be one of my favorite acts on a wrestling show. They never needed to be main events. They never needed to be champions. You could literally do anything you wanted with them, and everybody loved SCU. And ever since SCU is broken up, Kazarian, the only thing he's gained since leaving SCU is hair. Scorpio Sky has not been elevated in any sense of the word. And Chris Daniels has wrestled once on television, has spent most of his time doing indie wrestling and office work. So I don't know. And there was no like grand breakup or anything. It's just one day they were done. Like, what the fuck?
It was the Young Bucks match, and that was it. But like Scorpio left before then.
Yeah, Scorpio had been long gone, and then the Daniels Kazarian match was just that they couldn't team up, but that's like its own separate tag team. It wasn't that SCU could never be together again. It was that Kazarian and Daniels wrestling as the Addiction. They could never wrestle or be teammates again. And they botched that emotional match that was supposed to be a send-off by the fact that they barely built it, too. So, I don't know. SCU has worn it on the chin here. I hope they all think they're doing well, because I guess that's all that matters. But, dude.
I mean, Scorpio's guy, he's at least won a title since, splitting up. But, like,
I guess
he lost it in his first defense almost.
Now he's gonna wrestle in a ladder match. And what is he supposed to lose again? Like, is Sammy gonna lose again? I don't know. This is a jumbled mess.
I hate all their segments.
They're so bad. And we're gonna get to another one soon. But before we do, Thunder Rosa video promo. She said she'd continue to fight the best that AEW has to offer, and she was all fired up like normal. And it was a Thunder Rosa video. That was kind of that. Anything you thought? Just a video?
They do good videos.
Okay. Well, in that case, we can get right back to being mad, as Sammy and Ty would put it. We had the Sammy Guevara in-ring promo, which of course means they're going to get interrupted by Scorpio Sky and Dan Lambert and Ethan Page. I have no idea who I'm supposed to like and dislike, like at all. I have no idea.
Well, we're supposed to like Dan Lambert, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page now.
We are? Because, like,
yes, we are.
They're still just, like, objectively, they're still horrible people.
Yeah, they are. They cheat and do all of it, like whatever bad person does.
So the story of this feud is that I am supposed to now like people who are objectively dickhead human beings, all because the other two people I'm not supposed to like, because they're mad, because they're making people mad on Twitter. What kind of fucking lesson is this?
They're mad at trolls.
Yes. So
they're not mad at people. They're mad at trolls.
They're mad at trolls and bot accounts, and they've worked themselves up, and now people hate them. So I don't know, but there was only one line of any redeemable quality in this entire promo. Actually, I guess two, but still, they weren't that good. Ethan Page or Dan Lambert was talking about their kids or whatever. I don't even know. And Sammy said, "I don't give a shit about your kid." Which, if he's the bad guy, it's hilarious. But if we're supposed to like Sammy, it's not as funny.
It's just like Chris Statlander saying to Layla Hirsch, like, "You're unadoptable." Like, we're supposed to be like the best friends.
And then the other redeemable quality was when Dan Lambert said that they were going to give Sammy the pounding that his girlfriend dreams of. And I thought that was hilarious. But at the same time, it's like, it's a horrible thing to say. And people are cheering him wildly. Like, I don't know. Somehow John Moxley talks about murdering people and taking the blood from their body until there's
drinking their blood, yeah.
And somehow doesn't come across as horrible as a person as all five of the people in this segment did. Think about that.
Good thing Paige Van Zandt wasn't even there.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, that would have been the only quality that was redeeming, because at least they had a pretty good brawl, and we knew that they probably wouldn't talk much more.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck. It was so brutal. All these segments are not good. But
it's next week.
Yeah, all of this to say that they're wrestling again next week in another ladder match for the TNT title. This TNT title, dude.
Give it to Andrade, for fuck's sake.
They should have, like 2 months ago. I don't understand what's going on. Speaking of not understanding what's going on, the House of Black is still talking about Fuego del Sol. What are they doing? Who fucking cares about Fuego del Sol? Even Fuego tweeted out that these House of Black folks are wasting their own precious TV time still talking about Fuego del Sol. This is coming from Fuego. And I sit here and wonder the same thing every week, Del Sol. I swear to you, I'm thinking the same thing. But yeah, they said some cryptic thing about how next week the sun dies and Del Sol means sun. And dude, just fight somebody who's not a goddamn jobber. I don't care about Fuego del Sol.
I don't.
I know you don't, but like, what the fuck? Give me more than that. I'm really upset about this. This doesn't make any sense.
So was it part 3 of confusion for the episode.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, a little more confusing things than normal. But I mean, some of them are funny at least. I'm confused. Yeah. I'm confused, but also wildly entertained. The only thing I can't honestly say that about is the current TNT title. The state of the TNT title is not great. And the state of, dude, Fuego del Sol has a rent-free island in Malachi Black's head right now. And all Malachi Black has done has beat the shit out of him.
Repeatedly.
Fuego del Sol has since backed off, and this Malachi Black still cannot stand this Fuego del Sol. My God. The next segment started really cool, ended not as cool. Britt Baker came out for her qualifying match against Danielle Camella in the Owen Hart Foundation Cup qualifying match. She came out with Pat Freiermuth, the Steelers tight end.
Yep.
And Najee Harris, the Steelers star running back. Yeah. And these guys were so excited to be there. They were having a blast.
They were smiling the entire time. They were having so much fun. And they were just waving around their terrible towels too. They were just having a blast.
They were having such a good time doing this in Pittsburgh. I got a kick out of that. Unfortunately for me, at least, that was where the fun and entertaining part of this entire segment ended, was when the match begun. I didn't think this was very good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not wrestle through a fucking commercial break?
They did. They did.
I looked over. I was watching the show with Dan, and I said, Dan, if this match is not over in 30 seconds, we're going to fast forward. And then immediately as I said that, they prepared to go to commercial. And so I fast forwarded through the commercial and came back. I said, okay, if this match is not over in 30 seconds, back from commercial, I am fast forwarding this. It wasn't over in 30 seconds, so we fast forwarded to the finish. What the fuck? Just beat the jobber, celebrate with the Steelers, and move on. If all of the people...
Not that hard. Not that hard.
If you had to give those two that much time, because there's some people on Twitter that complain about how much time the women's matches get on the show, then you are booking your show in accordance to some of the dumbest people out there. If you cannot understand how Britt Baker crushing this girl...
is a superstar.
She's a star. She could have crushed this Danielle girl in 30 seconds, spent the entire commercial break partying with the Steelers and exciting the crowd by throwing stuff to them, doing terrible towels, getting some Steelers chants started. And then when you come back from commercial, she can cut her same promo. Instead, we had to have her wrestle for 5 minutes, do a promo that was kind of, it left a lot to be desired for sure. And then the two Steelers guys didn't even get to do anything. And as Najee Harris tried to talk, they turned the microphone off on him. The horrible, horrible segment. All of it.
Yeah.
That was one of those layup segments. Like, if ever you're going to do sports entertainment on a Dynamite show, when you have 2 star Pittsburgh Steelers players with your hometown girl, who is probably your biggest star in your division, and instead you do a 7-minute match, most of which takes place in commercial, and then there's kind of an underwhelming promo after where the Steelers guys aren't even involved. I mean, come on. Do I need to start writing some of these segments for them? I could turn that women's division around in 2 months.
I'll apply to AEW right now to be a writer.
They don't have writers, Fish.
I know that. I'll be the first one for their sports entertainment segments. I'll be a writer.
Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida video promo aired. Next week, their feud will once again end for the 3rd time in a Philly street fight.
Good video.
Good video. It was a good video. And then the main event was Darby Allin versus Andrade El Idolo in a coffin match, which I get it that Darby Allin built the coffin and this is Darby Allin's gimmick and everything. But when you watch The Undertaker do coffin matches, they've got a sick coffin. And it's huge. And if you were to land in it, it probably wouldn't hurt as bad as this one probably hurt. There are no thumbtacks.
Oh my gosh.
And it just, the ones that they used in the WWE versions, the coffins are just so much bigger. They look so much more grand.
Actual coffins.
they've got to stop letting Darby actually build the coffin. Look, Darby, you do a lot of great things. Love the videos. The matches are outstanding. But you know what? Carpentry, not your thing.
Yeah.
What did you think of this match?
I expected it to have a way worse ending than what it did. So I can elaborate on that if you want to finish the match.
Okay, so we'll talk about some of the match highlights. The best part for me was, listen, Darby Allin got into a no disqualification match and brought nobody to the ring. So immediately, the Andrade family office, the Blade and Mark Quinn start beating him down, and they beat him down into the crowd. And so there was a scene in a WCW show years ago where there was a mystery guy who was, I don't know if he was causing problems in the NWO or if he was like some fake NWO defector. I have not seen the full clip to this day, but essentially Sting is standing in the ring with a mask on, and the mask looks exactly like the Sting face paint. He's standing there in the ring, all of a sudden hits the dude with a scorpion death drop, and immediately takes off his mask to reveal that it's Sting wearing a Sting mask. And so they paid tribute to that by having these dudes kick Darby's ass into the crowd. And then they ripped up some dude who was wearing a Sting mask sign. And of course, in a backwards ball cap and all, it was Sting who did the same reveal and then beat the dudes all around the arena. He did another dive off of a balcony.
Oh my gosh. He wants to die.
This guy, man, this dude is insane. Like, I don't get it. He's probably done more dives in his 60s than he ever did as an active wrestler.
I don't know what Darby has on him to make him do all these dives, but man, he is talking his language.
Dude, maybe Darby Allin is just contagious, man. Everybody that's around him, they're inspired to just risk their lives and their health for the betterment of the show. I don't know, but it was your typical Darby Allin taking brutal bumps match. Towards the end, I thought the ending was it wasn't bad, but it was a little lackluster. Like Jose, the assistant, took a backdrop on the thumbtacks. They kind of wrestled back and forth. Darby did the tope through the ropes to spear Andrade through the ropes to the floor into the coffin, which was brilliant. They did that very well. But in the end, Darby, of course, gets the upper hand on Andrade, shuts the coffin closed, and dives on top of it to secure the victory. I can't believe Darby continues. I mean, like, I love Darby, and I want him to be presented as a star, but it's just wild to me that this Andrade keeps losing. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he has taken so many, I wouldn't say so many losses, but I feel like Andrade's taken some big losses.
Dude, 2 months ago, I thought he was going to be the next TNT champion.
Yeah, we talked ourselves into it.
I can't even remember the last time that he won a big match now.
He beat Darby.
Hell? This has all got to end in him ditching the Andrade family office and reuniting with his family. Like, it's got to. Is there any way in which he sticks with the Andrade family office and continues to lose? I can't see it.
I have no idea. But do you want to hear what I thought was going to be the finishing blow?
Let's hear it.
So I thought they were going to do the same thing with Ethan Page, where Darby does a coffin drop on the coffin. I'm like, they're actually going to do this with Tax in the coffin to Andrade? And I'm like, they can't do this. But that's what my mind was thinking, was like, because he did that to Ethan. I don't know if Ethan Page actually knew that was going to happen either.
Dude, that was scary. I'm glad they did not do something like that again.
No, I know, but I'm just like, that's what I thought was going to go. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about this.
Dude, they're both crazy guys. I wouldn't have been surprised. Like, frankly, I'm surprised it was as tame as it was and that the only person who fell on anything sharp was Jose, the assistant. Think about this. They had a coffin match where they took all these brutal bumps. And the two most dangerous looking thing was Jose going into the tax and Sting jumping off of another balcony. They got everybody else to do some work for him to help make the match
Jose
better.
Went shirtless.
Jose did. He hulked up, man. But in the end, Andrade loses again. and the Andrade family office. Look, it was a bad investment when Matt Hardy got it together, and it was an even worse investment when Andrade took it over. I don't know what's going on, but it basically makes everybody who is in management position worse.
Horrible.
Too many geeks to manage, and they can't focus on themselves. And you got to have a little internal focus if you're gonna.
Too many losing.
Too many.
Too much, I should say.
Too much losing. Too many losses. Too much losing. But that was the Dynamite show. Wild. It was up and down in the best way possible. Like other than the Britt Baker segment, which was so much nothing that, like, I don't want to be mean because nobody in the segment was technically bad, but just the way it's booked, it makes it so boring. Like so boring. Not bad, not good, but boring. And I don't think boring is what. Hey, every time WWE needs a big rating, they do a horrendous wedding segment and it draws ratings. It's not bad. It's not good at all. It's bad, but people watch it because it's that bad. This is neither good nor bad. It's just plain out boring. But other than that one little Britt Baker segment with the match, this whole show it's your standard Dynamite. Great opener, really good closer, and plenty of confusion about stuff in between. Yeah. And we'll let you know when that trend changes.
I don't see it going any differently anytime soon.
Nah, dude, that's the staples of Dynamite: confusion and great openers and closers. But that's Dynamite for the week. Want to take us into Rampage?
Yeah, Rampage. We actually kicked it off with the Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifying match. We had Tomohiro Ishii with Orange Cassidy and Rocky Romero ringside.
And versus Adam Cole. I already got a problem. So
before we even get started, there's a problem.
How this wasn't the main event of the show kills me. It kills me. It was so awesome, and I don't think there was anything that could realistically follow it, and they put it on first. Essentially an advertisement, if you know what the card is, that even though nothing else on the show is going to be bad, it's all downhill from here because who's going to top that? Like, I loved this match. I thought it was so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm baffled as you are when like you literally can't follow up after these two just went at it.
You cannot. But
it was a phenomenal match. I thought it was.
Oh, I thought it was an excellent match. Every time Ishii took a couple of forearm strikes, like he would kind of be dazed, and then like he'd take like a fourth one and he'd remember who he is, and he would just absolutely scream in Adam Cole's face because there was no amount of elbow strikes that were going to keep Ishii down. And every time he just would start, my favorite is when he walks into the elbow strikes.
Oh yeah, he walked him back into the corner.
And then he just roars and then just drops Adam Cole in one elbow. The Stone Pitbull. Great nickname, too. I mean, Ishii's got everything. I will never be bored or not look forward to a Tomohiro Ishii match. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, and I guess, like, you could probably say, like, one of the, only few complaints is that it just didn't go longer.
Oh, yeah. If I had to make one complaint, I'll make two. It should have been the main event, which isn't their fault, and it should have been longer because I could have watched that for another 8 minutes, and that's not their fault either.
No, the match wasn't their fault.
No, the match was amazing. If only I could have watched that for the whole hour, I would have been thrilled.
Yeah, and then after that, we had the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Real quick, before we move on, I also want to say that there was a really funny Ricky Starks moment in the match. They're wrestling back and forth, and then like the camera gets flipped and they're showing Orange Cassidy, and Ricky Starks just go, well, hold on, wait a second. Let me just ask, what is he doing out here? Like, why is he?
Yeah, they talked about chaos, but yeah, he had no idea.
And I got a kick out of that because I was sitting there thinking, you know what, Ricky? Same.
Well, then they explained that he's a part of chaos.
Dude, I hope Okada gives him just the most brutal Rainmaker ever when he learns that Rocky invited this random guy into his group.
Why didn't he bring Trent? It would make much more sense as Roppongi Vice.
Why? Well, we don't need to make sense. It's a best friend segment.
They need to take a page out of the Uter.
Yeah, they do need to take a page out of the Uter's playbook.
But yeah, after that, we had the Jericho Appreciation Society strolling on in.
This was
just
so
to get
funny.
stopped by security.
I love this. This was so great. Dude, Matt Lee. He is so great. But it was so funny. They won't let him in. They were told, management was told that they're not allowed in. And Jericho goes, yeah, no, that's not real, guy. Okay. Everybody knows who runs the show. When they wouldn't allow them in, he says he's going to report them to HR.
And
Matt Lee goes, human resources.
He points at him too. Like they don't.
Human resources. Dude, they touched Jericho when Jericho tried to walk through. And the reaction from all other guys in the group, the fact that the security guard dare laid his hands on Chris Jericho, they were appalled. And like they all sold how appalled they were. So great. It was just, hey, and this guy right here, if he wanted to, he could rip off all your heads with the flick of his finger. But we're not going to do that.
See, and so my favorite part is about all this is that like Wardlow, like they need to hire this security crew for Wardlow.
Oh,
if they're gonna stop the Jericho Appreciation Society, get this crew out there.
Hey, it's just to show you how big of a badass this Wardlow truly is.
There you go. And then after that, we had another backstage with Hook and Danhausen, where Danhausen was like throwing chips around because he thought that was Hook's powers.
Just wasting chips. Dude, wasting
Hook took
food.
Real offense to that.
Yeah, Hook was trying to get interviewed, and like it was one of those things where they teased like Hook was going to get interviewed and then not talk again, and then his attention was immediately drawn. Like it's like another interview was interrupted, like we weren't going to get to hear him talk, and then he walks back there and sees all these chips and is like, "You want my attention? You got it now."
The chips is what got him.
Yeah, because where's Hook going to get his powers from if Danhausen is getting rid of all the chips?
I mean, they're going after. See, Danhausen has a strategy,
and Danhausen he had a strategy, but as soon as his strategy worked, when his strategy finally worked, the look on his face was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this."
He poked the bear.
He did poke the bear, and now he's going to get hooked.
Yeah, they're going to send Hook out there.
It was funny. I liked it.
Yeah, and then went back to the ring. We had Lance Archer versus Serpentico.
Best squash match ever.
I told you before that Serpentico does one hell of a jobber match.
He does.
And he does every time. And what I thought I was losing it when he did the tope. And he thought he knocked over leg. He started celebrating.
That was so good. Yes, it was a great jobber match, and it was exactly what it should have been. Lance Archer killed him in 30 seconds. Excellent.
And then killed him after.
And then killed him again. And I'm also still not convinced that Serpentico is not just Fuego del Sol with a different mask, but I digress.
Well, like we talked about, he's by the transitive property, a TNT champion and part of the best tag team of all time.
Absolutely. Transitive property gets them every time.
Yeah, I was going to say if people in the comments leave us a comment of who Serpentico has been in AEW.
He has been quite a few people, and also I think it's quite hilarious. This Serpentico character. He and Fuego, one of these days they should wrestle. It'd be like one of those things where it'll be the first time they've ever been seen together in the same spot.
Yep, very true. I like where your head's at.
Oh yeah.
And then we had the Daniel Garcia and Eddie Kingston match.
Okay, so if this had been like the first match that I saw between Eddie Kingston and Daniel Garcia, I would have thought like it was so amazing. And it was a really, really great match. But like I couldn't help but not get as into it as I thought I would be. Because one, I know it's not the end of the feud. Two, the whole we're going to ban people from ringside now after they've already wrestled 18 times. That also is pretty dumb, considering they're definitely going to have matches in the future, which will definitely have interference. Also, you know that the feud isn't over because Eddie says that everything that he does to Daniel is coming back tenfold to Jericho. So, like, some of those factors, while I get why they're doing them because it's part of the story or whatnot, just kind of takes me out of the drama of the match, so to speak. But other than that, like it was still a tremendous showing by both guys. And it's amazing to me how good Daniel Garcia is, given the fact that he's only one, been on TV for like a year and a half, and two, I don't think he's been wrestling for that long either. And to see him fit in with the Jericho Appreciation Society as well as he does, and also be able to go out there and have these matches, like good on you, Daniel Garcia. You're a highlight of my week when I watch you wrestle, and this was no different. I thought it was really good.
And there's one thing that, I wouldn't say like I noticed more than others, and I think this equates to like the CM Punk Dustin Rhodes match, where it was like kind of old school, where it was like Daniel Garcia just literally beat on his ribs the entire time. And I'm like, literally, like that's all you have to do is like pick apart and just go after it. And it was simple. I mean, it was to the point.
And Eddie visually showed us how that attack on the ribs affected the way in which he went about his offense. And it was very strategic, and it was a nice little story and two really good wrestlers. So that's really all you need. If they did that all the time, the show, it would be consistently A+.
Yeah. I mean, like we say, it's not a bad match, but like the circumstances around it didn't make it the best match.
Yep. Just a stop along the way. They had a really, really great match, and it was ultimately a stop along the way in the Kingston group versus Jericho Appreciation Society.
Since we don't even know what the Kingston group,
they're just the Kingston group.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the Kingston group.
Yeah,
the Young Bloods.
I guess whatever they want to do. But yeah, then we threw it backstage to Tony Schiavone, where he interviewed Swerve and Keith Lee, and Keith Lee was pretty irritated.
I was laughing. I laughed very hard during this promo segment, especially when
Swerve used the word or whatever, and
Swerve goes, "As you can tell, Keith Lee is a little perturbed right now. That's one of them words you taught me last week." Yeah. Okay. Those two are very good at playing off of each other.
Yeah, that they are. And then, after they talked about, I appreciate this because they're going to keep having more matches and you get more Team Taz,
yes,
in the mix. So it keeps them, relatively, fresh. But I mean, I think these, four guys are going to have, great matches.
More great matches.
I just don't want them to have so many matches against each other. So that's what I'm a little nervous about. But
the good news is they've kept the circumstances surrounding the matches a lot simpler than some of these other people who wrestle 18 times. And now I'm confused and look, it's not just blatant rematches, but over the last several months, there has been a lot more situations where their groups have wrestled in combination multiple times in a row. And that's they didn't used to do that as much as they've been doing it. So it really then becomes about the circumstances surrounding it. And I'm all in on the Team Taz versus Keith Lee and Swerve feud. Oh, let me ask you this. Do you now officially have a bone to pick with Swerve?
I do.
Keith Lee was all upset because he looked up to Taz and studied Taz. And Swerve goes, "I didn't look up to him and I didn't study him."
I was irate.
I figured you didn't like that.
I was wearing my Team Taz t-shirt.
You were bleeding orange I was
bleeding orange.
Yeah.
And I was just, how can you not look up to Taz?
Swerve doesn't. I don't know what to tell you.
He doesn't have that FTW spirit. That's why he won't ever have the FTW belt.
You know what, Swerve? The reason you don't like me, you don't have that FTW spirit. I could totally see Taz telling him that.
I can't wait to hear it on commentary either. So.
Oh, yeah.
Because hopefully it's on Dynamite where we can get more Taz on commentary.
Well, I think that if they're wrestling, we'll get Taz on commentary anyways. So,
well, I know, but like it's nice to have the fourth guy on Dynamite with Taz.
It's nice to have somebody who's just better than the three guys that they currently have. That's why it's nice. But
it's almost like sorry to get off topic here, but. When Don Callis shows up and does commentary, it's electric.
Yes, it is. And he's so much better than any other guest that they have for the most part.
The invisible hand is the GOAT.
The GOAT of manager and interim commentary.
Yeah. And then we actually went backstage again to Tony, where he interviewed Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, and Tony Storm.
Okay, so I only saw actually a little clip of this because I don't know if it was just my recording or if I had bum internet or what was going on because I was watching a stream of my DVR recording. But it cut out and cut back in and the audio was all off. So I didn't even really get the gist of the segment. So you bring it home.
Yeah, it was basically just setting up the match between Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm. And then Tony just wanted to know what Britt Baker has done ever since she left Pittsburgh. And I don't know. She won the AEW Women's Championship.
What? That's what she asked?
Yeah, I believe that's what she asked.
Tony. Bad question. Bad question. Did they tease dissension between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker?
Yeah, a little bit because Tony Storm was like, "I'll see you, next round," and then Britt Baker, when she punched, she's like, "I'll see you, maybe not." Like, but like they said something earlier, I can't remember. That was a good one, but they said something earlier about like who's gonna win like the Owen Hart Women's tournament, and Britt Baker like pointed to me, and then Jamie Hayter like looked in the camera, was like, "Me." Like, so I don't. But like it's more of like a joke, like a gesture, not like a serious one. But
well, dude, they need a feud, and I don't think Britt needs to be back searching for the title. And Jamie Hayter, I need to see a Jamie Hayter Britt Baker feud once this whole tournament deal is over.
Yeah, but it was a short little segment.
All right,
and then we went to the Mark Henry time. It's the main event,
dude. This match, I'm not gonna lie to you. All right. Here's what happened to me.
Well, let me just say it was Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir with Smart Mark.
Okay.
With Jade, yeah. But go ahead.
I'm going to give you plenty of time here because here's what happened to me when this match came out. All right, so I'm watching the show and I got a long drive ahead of me. I've still got some packing to do, and there's still some things I got to take care of. And I see that the interview for the main event is coming up, and then I watched Mark Henry do his whole, "It's time for the main event." And, I was pretty happy. And then I was just curious. So I clicked on my screen so that I could see how much time was left. There was like 16 fucking minutes left. And I turned the show off right there. I was not watching those two wrestle for 16 minutes with a 4-minute commercial thrown in there. It just wasn't happening. God bless them. I heard that Jade looked okay during the match. Yeah. I heard the match ultimately wasn't very good at all. Aside from Jade looking a little bit better in certain spots. But like your Tomohiro Ishii versus Adam Cole main event. This is once again booking yourself in accordance to what a small but vocal few have to say on Twitter. And at the end of the day, you're never going to please them anyways. And so booking your show with that title match in the main event, it was a good way to get people like me who have things going on to skip it outright. So I apologize that I didn't see the main event of Rampage. You'll have to take it away from here, but I was not dedicating 16 minutes of my time to that. Did I make the right decision?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was definitely like skippable. Like, it wasn't like, see, the only thing is like, there's still like the outcome. Like, I never thought Jade would lose to Marina Shafir.
Exactly.
So I think that's like part of like why it's like skippable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. That was the main reason why I did. Like, I didn't have high hopes there was going to be, a classic title match or anything. Like, that's never what I expect. I expect to see Jade hopefully getting better, and hopefully the opponent she wrestles isn't bad. But like, I'm not excited to watch that in the main event. You know what I mean? Like, my expectations are that I hope I see an improving star, someone who's getting better at wrestling. And I don't have 16 minutes of time to sit and watch and be like, "Oh yeah, hey, nice, she's gotten better." I don't care. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, see,
she should have already been better. She's the goddamn champion.
Go off.
Well, I'm done now. I don't have anything else to comment on. I didn't watch it.
So the parts of like, they both looked like good in certain situations, whereas like, Jade, obviously, she's improving, but like looked good in some scenarios. And then Marina Shafir, like, looked good in some areas too. But like I think what you're saying is too, where it's like better opponents would get the most out of them as well. And I think that's kind of what we're stuck with right now.
Dude, when I do watch some of the women's matches, like there are just a lot of times where it's just clunky and not flowing and it's rough. And then out of nowhere for like 30 seconds, it'll be smooth and crisp, which tells me that there are a lot of things that they have practiced hundreds of times. And when it's time to do something that they've practiced hundreds of times, oh, okay. Well, step 1, step 2, step 3.
You turn the brain off and do it. Yeah.
We did it. However, that's not how this is supposed to work. Like when I put a ball, when I'm hitting, as a baseball player, and when I'm working on hitting, when I put a ball on a tee, I don't pat myself on the back for hitting 10 straight line drives. The ball is not moving. It is something that I've done tens of thousands of times. So being able to do a spot in a match, to me, is the equivalent of hitting a baseball off of a tee. If it's a spot that requires choreography, if you practice something enough, you're going to be able to do it. But if you can't do the music between the notes part, which, to continue my analogy, if in baseball you can't time a pitcher, read off speed, or, fill in the music between the notes, so to speak, it doesn't fucking matter how many times you can hit the ball straight off of a tee. Hey, nobody wants you in their lineup. And that's kind of how I feel about some of these matches. It's like, I'm certain that Jade looked great in some spots, the ones she's practiced a million times. And I'm sure Marina looked good in certain spots. Everybody has their spots they look good in, but like what I want to see is a great match. And it was a main event title match, and I was pretty confident that I was skipping something that was ultimately skippable. And those are not things that belong in your main event.
Yeah, like I said, it's they both did their thing, and and when they do their thing, that they look good doing it.
Sure.
So it's not like they're bad, but like I definitely think if you pair them up, someone who has a lot more in-ring experience, like they also will show a lot better too, because they have someone help guiding them.
Yeah, that's what I think is missing the most, is the general somebody to guide the match in a direction where everything flows a lot better. And there's like a greater story. How was the crowd during this match?
They're still into it. Like it was still like pretty popping. Yeah.
Good.
I thought it was. So
yeah. I mean, I didn't see it, and then I packed up and drove 4 hours. So I was like, I can't. I won't be enthused. I won't pay attention. So I just skipped it. Which, hey, I told you, I'm going to start skipping stuff. Like, I'm going to watch this ladder match. But if there is one single Sammy Guevara, Dan Lambert type of segment after the ladder match, I'm not watching it. It's being skipped by default. If we put the main event on in the middle of the show or at the beginning of the show, that main event better still be something enticing, because like, come on, man. Like,
yeah,
the flow of the show, sometimes it just ends up working in reverse.
Tony, come on.
Yeah, come on, man. Let us book this women's division for you. We'll make it good in 2 months. No more complaints. We'll please every Twitter troll out there, and all the bots too. Shout out bots.
They're the real MVPs.
They sure are. But that's all my thoughts on Rampage. I mean, hey, what I saw, I enjoyed. I ran into some connectivity issues, and then I wasn't going to deal with the buffering and watching the main event and all that. But hey, of the 41 minutes that I saw, I really liked the Rampage show. It was quick and compact, as it'll be when you don't even see the full hour. But even the full hour, it's always easy. It's your favorite show. Everybody knows this.
Everyone knows it.
Well, I guess we can transition into our closing segment here. Fish, favorite match of the week. What do you got?
I am going to go with the opener yet again.
Okay.
CM Punk, Dustin Rhodes.
Going with CM Punk, Dustin Rhodes. Okay. All right. I love that. That's a great pick. Nice classic traditional
5
match.
decades earned. I was wearing my Dustin Rhodes.
Shirt?
Yeah.
Good. I like that you have coordination in your attire as you watch some of these matches. That's good.
I do every now and then. Papa Fish will wear his Michael Nakazawa shirts.
I can't believe your dad has a Michael Nakazawa shirt.
He has a Michael Nakazawa shirt, and then when the Dark Order is wrestling, he puts on his Dark Order recruitment specialist shirt.
Oh, that's so great. Mr. Fish, the legend. All right. Well, my favorite match of the week. Now, I actually had a lot to choose from because I liked the Ishii Adam Cole. I liked the Dustin Rhodes CM Punk. And then the other two matches were Blake Christian versus Will Ospreay from Warrior Wrestling. And actually, Swerve versus Anthony Green from Warrior Wrestling. I love that match. That was a great match. But I am going to have to go with the Will Ospreay match. It's very hard. It's very hard to beat a Will Ospreay main event as far as when you're competing for my personal favorite match of the week. It was kind of like a Will Ospreay, who's the established star, versus a guy who is very, very popular on the indies, had a cup of coffee in NXT. Ultimately, you watch him wrestle, and it's clear that he's very inspired by a guy like Will Ospreay. Yep. And I mean, look, these two landed on their head far too many times for me. Don't get me wrong. They shouldn't have done some of that. Some of the shit was borderline dangerous. But at the same time, they accomplished so many just humongously impressive feats of athleticism during the match. It was well paced. I don't know how long it went, but it was like a long match that was paced well, and you had a crowd literally on their feet in this Bendix Arena by the time it was all said and done. It's one of those things where a Will Ospreay main event at this point in time creates an atmosphere, even at an indie show like that is unmatched by probably the only people I think could even compete as far as creating that aura goes is Okada and Omega right now. Other than those two guys, it requires build, story, circumstance. But if you just throw those three guys in a main event, them being in the main event is what makes it feel that big. And it's just a hard thing to topple. So that's what my favorite match of the week was. That's what I'm going with. Will Ospreay versus Blake Christian. I don't know how much the Warrior Wrestling show costs to watch on Fight, but that alone is worth
I think it was like 15, 20 maybe.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. If that's all it costs, that one match at the end is well worth your time. And if you're going to watch the whole show, you can save yourself 25 minutes by skipping the Frank the Con segment.
Principal Steve's got his favorites.
He sure does. But that's all I got as far as match of the week goes. You got any closing thoughts here, Fishy?
Nope. I'm excited to kind of see the build for Double or Nothing.
I'm getting really hyped for Double or Nothing at this point. I can't wait for the Double or Nothing special. We're going to go all out. I'm going to try and come up with a nice theme, maybe some effects.
There we go. We're going to do it all.
Oh, yeah. We're going to
I might even dress up and we should be part of the blackjack table.
We should dress up for the Double or Nothing post show.
There you go. We should.
All righty. Well, that's going to conclude our Gould-Fish pod episode here. I am Matt Gould.
And I'm Ryan Fish.
And that was everything that went on in our world of wrestling. We will talk to you next week. Peace out.